applause from Scotland supporters. They've done a sound job on England in that sense, limiting them to one headed opportunity for Sheringham. Craig Brown's tactics working like a treat. But for England, who are expected really to take the initiative here, and indeed need to do so, there hasn't been too much to lift you off your seat. They've got bogged down in that web of defenders, and Paul Gascoigne has been unable, indeed that also goes for the others, to open up a well-organised Scottish formation. So at half-time in the European Championship between the oldest international rivals in the world, it remains England 0, Scotland 0.
Well, there's plenty of excitement around here, but we're not looking, Ruud, at Portugal or Russia here, are we? I mean, what do you think you're looking at? What do you make of that first half?
It starts already the first ball that England has, and they just kicked it in front. I see every free kick from wherever it is, Pierce is kicking it front. There's no construction of the game. I see midfield players like Gascoigne taking the ball off the foot of Adams, and you know that is bad. He must be playing midfield, and I think that McCall and McAllister are ruling midfield just because they're running more. McAllister sometimes goes into deep, and that opens spaces in midfield. And England, it looks like they are so static, you know, that no movement at all, and that makes it difficult for themselves. And maybe it's because they're nervous, maybe it's because it's cold, or it's hot. I don't know, you know. I'm very surprised today.
Gascoigne's not having a good time out there, Jim.
No, I mean, Ruud has mentioned the points. I'm not surprised because it was what I expected beforehand. Gascoigne doesn't look physically right, he doesn't look emotionally right in that game. And without him, without his creativity, the England team suffers. I mean, that's not the only problem. McManaman doesn't look happy on that side because he never is happy in that situation. Anderton coming back from that injury and now sort of going into a kind of semi-coma or whatever it is not producing anything. The Scottish team have been workmanlike, they've played well according to the system that they know, and they've looked very, very tidy. England have really not looked like an international team at all.
But you know, Alan, we've seen this precise football. I mentioned Portugal and Russia and other teams in this competition. Precise 1-2s, they keep control of the ball for so long. Right at the start of this match, almost the first ball we saw was a hecky thump up the field. I mean, it set the tone in a sort of way.
Well, that's right. There's definitely been a lot of Route 1 football. Look at the space he's got here. You know, he takes it to the right-hand side and it's just launch. And I think from a Scotland point of view, that's a waste of time because England's strength at the back is in the air. I feel that Scotland have done really well. We've talked before about the England back three and the flaw of leaving the flanks exposed. I think that Scotland have exploited that flaw. McKimmie on the one side, McKinley on the other side have got great positions. The only problem is, one, the lack of bodies in the box when they cross it in, and two, what you're basically doing again is going into England's strength. England are strong there at the back. I think if you could just get in round about them with a quick little feet of Spencer and McAllister getting in there, you could get a bit of joy. I think Scotland have played excellent in the first half. The only thing that's been missing is a goal.
Well, I was going to say, nonetheless, they haven't looked really dangerous up front, do you think, have they?
No, I don't. I think that's the one big thing that's missing.
Oh, quite a big thing.
Well, penetration through them. I think they've got into, no, I think they've got into forward positions. They've had one or two decent chances. McAllister had a decent chance. I thought when Seaman came out and punched it, that if Calder would have left it, Spencer was in. I think that Scotland have had most of the play, and basically that surprised me. I agree entirely with it. I think it's a waste of time. Ince and Gascoigne coming deep to take the ball off Adams and Neville and Pierce.
Let's look at one or two of the other moments of that first half once again. McAllister had a free kick opportunity that and the ball got through.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he troubles Seaman that much. You know, he's hit it well enough. He's gone through the gap. But you're expecting a class goalkeeper to save that, and he did quite.
It wasn't hugely imaginative, Ruud.
No. It was a shot on target in a game where we haven't seen an awful lot.
I have to laugh also because in the first free kick, what England had, I think it was about 40 yards, I think, and they tried to hit it on.
Yeah, it was Pierce there. He's going to score from that area before.
Yeah, but come on, it's always the goalkeeper's fault. Come on,
it would have to be the goalkeeper's fault, you think, from that area.
But you know. We talk about Gascoigne, but I think also that you know, they expect him to invent something, but you can only invent something when there is movement, and there is no movement. I didn't hear Sheringham the whole game. I didn't hear Shearer the whole game. And so that means that there is no movement.
Anderton you could add to the list.
Yeah, also.
Yeah.
Southgate, you don't hear them. And because they're not in the game, they're hiding themselves or whatever.
But what you're looking for is for them to pass it. They can't pass it because they're not good enough to pass it. Then they've got the technical ability of the Portuguese or the Russians.
Yeah. So the man on the ball is having to do more work than in those other teams.
The man with the ball is not deciding what's going to happen. It's the man without ball deciding. If you run the right moment, you can give it. But if people always have to run, a touch, again a touch, that's bad. That means there is no movement at all. Yeah. And that is what happened.
You go back to all the games they played in the friendly matches in England. We thought for a long time that England were a decent passing side, but they weren't, they weren't getting pressurised.
They can't help that though, can they? They're playing friendly.
But in the two games that they've played here today and last Saturday, they've found out what it's all about. And when the man is under pressure, they can't play it.
Do you think their best opportunities will come from set pieces, Jim? I don't think we've got that long free kick.
Well, we can pray. I mean, that's one of the things that has been done under Terry Venables. I mean, they have got the dead ball situations.
This is the movement. Do you remember they tried during against the Swiss match?
The same one where Shearer blocks off Sheringham's marker, and Sheringham then turns and spins and goes running to the far post, in fact, outside of it. They didn't time it as well this time, but he really was almost free, but the Scots obviously have been watching our programmes because we revealed that to the whole world.
No, I phoned up Craig Brown on Thursday and told him about the free kick.
You did.
That was what happened.
You're a traitor. You're a traitor to England.
I still think the man doing the blocking is committing a foul in the game of football.
He is, but it doesn't get spotted because it's away from the referee's line of vision. I mean, I'm not justifying that. I'm only saying they get away with it.
Yeah.
So that's that. But But Scotland have made the best of the skills that they have in the side. They've played with a pattern with which they're happy. England have looked so lopsided. I mean, I know Ruud is shocked by it. I'm not shocked by it because of the individual players in the positions that they're playing not being happy with that. Gascoigne's not the only one. He's not happy emotionally. McManaman does not look the player in that position that he is if you put him in the centre of the field and give him two sides to go as against, bringing it in and taking the width away.
Now, another incident in that first half, Alan, you picked this one up. Seaman came for the ball and did he need to at this stage?
Well, I think there's a bit of lack of communication here. I think that somebody's got to shout to him to leave it, but he comes and punches it. It comes to Henry here, and when he cuts it back, watch Spencer behind Calderwood. If Calderwood just leaves that, Spencer's in left peg. I think it was a great opportunity. And again, maybe just a lack of communication between Spencer and Calderwood. He should just shout, leave it. But mind you, it's a centre-back in a centre-forward position. Sometimes you get a nosebleed.
You know what the difficult part is for me is that, everybody is have a lot of criticism about England at this moment, And the most difficult thing is that when England played all these friendly games, I judged England on that friendly game. And everybody in Europe was asking me how England is doing. And I said, yeah, they do very well. So for me, it's shocking now to see them play in this way. That means that a friendly match is not the same as really playing, for the points. And, I thought, during those friendlies, I see some good movement, I saw some passing game from the back, I saw everything. So I was very positive. Now seeing this, it's very difficult because I don't want to, say much critics about the English team. But when something is good, and when something is bad, you can't make it good. And I hope, that maybe second half, they show everyone.
How could you change it around? What can they do in the second half that's going to turn it around?
I think they must show much courage. It's the only thing. Of course, it's difficult. But what we see now, players who are playing now.
I think they've got back to courage.
Yeah,
I think they're lacking talent.
I think maybe they will Platt. You put Platt in. Platt is injured, but I know I've played with Platt. He's the one who goes deep. He's at least a player who's looking for the goal. And that you need some more movement. It's too, There's no movement at all, and that's a pity.
We have actually seen Platt warming up there, so I mean, I think that he is available to be put on. Otherwise, he wouldn't be running up and down on the line. And I would think if England is going to win the match, they need someone to score a goal. And Platt has an excellent record in that respect. I would give Gascoigne 10 minutes and go.
Okay.
You know?
Another incident from that first half for Scotland here, Alan. McAllister shot.
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent opportunity as well. They've switched the play well here. Spencer, a great first touch here. You know, that's magnificent. And what he does, he waits and he waits, and then he picks out McAllister. No, that was McCall, and it comes to McAllister, and you'd expect him to do better from there.
Yeah.
That's another Euro 96 shot.
Yeah.
The shooting hasn't been great from any match, not just this one.
Yeah.
I wonder what that is. What do you think about that, Ruud? Why do you think that is they suddenly lose their skill? We know we see wonderful goals during the European seasons, you know, from the same players. And in this tournament, somehow, I've been on all the pitches, the grass is lovely and magnificent, nothing wrong with the balls, and you get that.
I think maybe, you know, because the ball is tough to roll, you know, because it's so very dry. I think maybe when you wetten it a little bit, you know, and then maybe the ball will go.
Here, but
maybe the ball will go faster, you know, and maybe that's one of the reasons. Also, you don't hit it well every time. But it's also, you know, a tournament normally would better if you play it maybe mid-season, because after a season, if you have already a season of 36 games, cup and everything,
Ruud, we're
you are
lovely
tired.
with it. This is happening.
Yeah, I know.
You have to live in the now.
I know.
Martin and Everett all over.
But everybody's already tired, you know. You
Yeah.
have a tough season, then you have to, you know.
Shearer and Sheringham we haven't seen much of them, but we did see one moment right towards the end of the half.
Yes, yes. Again, they say when you head, whatever you do, head down, but not so hard into the ground that it takes the sting out the header. Head down for the goal line.
If that guy kept his head down, we might be able to see it.
Yeah. Have another look from
There's
another
a nice
angle.
bit of movement from Shearer.
Yeah,
The first time
yeah.
he's got away, good ball from Neville. It's a great cross in.
Takes all the
He
pace
probably could have done better there.
Well, it's not a classic, but it's a classic occasion. So let's see what happens in the second half. We're all happy. We're all hot and happy. We'll go back to John.
Well, if the crowd are happy with the occasion, they can hardly be happy with the match, can they? Certainly not the England supporters, and as you've been saying, they're going to expect something.
You were tempted. You were tempted. You had a bit in you. Pull you back every now.
More exciting in the second half, but they're making their own fun there just at the moment.
Yeah.
Just on the subject of substitutes, Trevor, I've no doubt that we shall be seeing one or two at least. I mean, would it be advisable, do you think, for Terry Venables to change it at half-time or wait a while?
Well, I think normally they like to just give the players the opportunity to show and start a little bit better. We saw, I was up at Anfield, saw Italy, of course, play very poorly with 11 men in the first half and then played exceptionally well with 10 men and were a bit unlucky perhaps to end up losing the game against the Czech Republic. So it can transform itself. Whether the balance of the side is right, with Paul Gascoigne going deep and then Gareth Southgate fall into a more ball winners than creative midfielders, it does mean that very few support players were getting to join Sheringham and Shearer, and if Sheringham drops deep as he's prone to do, then only Alan Shearer was there. So we'll have to see. I'm sure we will get substitutes, because just the weather as it is this afternoon, the option is there for 3 to come on. We'll have to see if we do get the early change at the start of the second half, or if it comes after 10 or 15 minutes. Looks like Jamie Redknapp, number 15, jogging out. So that does suggest that midfield passer Stuart Pearce gone off. So I would think Gareth Southgate would go at the back.
Terry, can you explain the significance of the substitution, please?
Well, yeah, we're not keeping the ball as well as we'd like, and I'll put Jamie Redknapp in there to help us do that.
For penetration for England in the second half, what are you looking for from your players?
Well, we're looking at getting crosses in a bit quicker, keep the ball a bit better, keep our shape, which we lost it a little bit at times. And it's just one of those things where we've got to stick to what we believe in, and hopefully we get the break. We got one good cross in, and Teddy Sheringham with a header, and that's the sort of early crosses what we're looking for.
Finally, a lot of nerves out there. Are you concerned?
Well, we've got 3/4 an hour to go yet.
Well, Jamie Redknapp, who will be 23 later this month, is going to win his 5th cap here, presumably to bring some added invention to the midfield. And the player taken off there, Stuart Pearce.
Well, I think it was just a case of Gareth Southgate will go back, no reflection really on Stuart Pearce, didn't do anything wrong, but he did squander possession, and Gareth Southgate might be able to keep it better going into that back three. But more than anything, Jamie Redknapp much more comfortable perhaps on the ball than Vincent Southgate in those situations. So now Paul Ince becomes the ball winner, and hopefully Jamie Redknapp and Paul Gascoigne can join quicker.